Okay. So, okay. So what can you guys see now? Can you see my screen up?
Well, for me, you are the one I'm seeing, not this screen. Have you started sharing?
Yeah, it seems to be very popular today. I really wanted us to see the screen and a little bit of me. Okay, so I about now.
Sharing. Yes, we can see.
Okay, all good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So, um, once again, I would just want to say a very big thank you for joining this section, for taking our time to join us this evening. We truly appreciate this evening and this afternoon. We truly appreciate your time. And in the next 45 to 60 minutes, we're going to be exploring the topic breaking into AML, KYC, and compliance. So this is how it's gonna work. So we're gonna be what we're gonna be discussing today. It's gonna be in five framework or five sections or five modules. So we're gonna be discussing what the role actually requires and how to prepare for it, even with no prior experience. So we're going to be talking about um, AML fundamentals. Then we'll explain KYC in detail. Then we will walk through a live case just so you get a glimpse of how it is done. Then we would also discuss about the practice gap, the gap in the practice, and also um, at some point be would be presenting an offer to you if you would want, like we'll be presenting an offer for you to explore a structured path on how to get into this space. So that's what we will be doing in the next few minutes that we're going to be together. So once again, my name is Baby Smith Sosumo. I'm a financial crime uh, compliance strategist. My background span the regular traditional Uh, banking, I've had opportunity of working with Scotia Bank, like I've been within the traditional banking system. Then I also moved towards the fintech companies. Also had exposure with a cryptocurrency company, payment exchange company. So part of those companies were also had opportunity of working with USA Bank in Texas. I've also had opportunity of working with Square. So by the time I was with Square, that was when it was um, it was bought or switched to Block. So, but some companies they still have Square framework and also Block. So I've also had opportunity of working with Binance US. Also have opportunity of working with Binance Mexico. I've worked with Wexbank. So even up to Meta, Facebook. So I have a a broad knowledge in financial crime compliance. So I've worked at different levels, starting from the analyst level and moving up to um, the managerial framework we where I work on policies and procedures. So I have a very good understanding of what I am going to be discussing with you today. And yeah, just so you should be rest assured that you are in good hands. So with that being said, I would like to move forward. So let's keep the ball rolling. So if you're excited for what you're about to learn today, can you just drop a one in the chat? Let's drop a one in the chat if you're excited about what you're going to be learning today. Let's keep the chat busy. Let's keep the chat busy. Let's keep the chat busy. It's going to be very interactive and very fast. Okay, so um, I would encourage that we pay attention, take notes when you can, and have an open mind towards what we're about to discuss today. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead. So see, so moving forward. So does this sound familiar to us? I guess this should sound familiar to us. It's both a question and both a statement. Most people assume compliance is about knowing the rules. Okay, they assume compliance is about knowing the rules. They study regulations, they memorize definitions, they complete online courses. However, they fail interview. The truth is that the problem is not effort; it is absence of applied decision-based practice. So, and that's what we are going to be discussing. That will be the major focus of our discussion today. Applied decision-based practice, because that's one thing we do in that's one thing we teach our students to understand the applied decision-based practice. So um, that is where a recruiter or IRA manager always look at. That's what they want to see. And so uh, by the end of this webinar, you would be able to understand what that means in uh, in real in real life or in details. So moving forward, so what we will cover today, like I had explained prior, it's going to be in 5 sections. So it's structured to move you from zero concept to confident understanding. So it's we're moving you from zero to confident understanding of what AML KYC compliance is all about. Then you can then make decision to say, um, this sounds interesting, or you can then say, I would like to move forward to learn more about this. So we're going to be talking about the fundamentals, what AML and KYC actually are. We explain them in a simple way and try our best. I'll try my best to remove the jargons. Like I'll be talking in a plain and simple English, so you can easily understand what I'm saying. Then we would discuss about the role in practice, what an AML KYC analyst does on a daily basis. So basically, we're going to be talking about the daily functions. So we would also then explain why most candidates fail, because there's a gap in between your knowledge and you having the knowledge, and second thing, you getting the job. So that gap we would we would explore it together, and then you can see for yourself. It's going to be more or less like um, a self-examination where you can see for yourself what is missing, the missing link. Then we will walk through our life case study. So at this point, we will walk through it, and also I still have something very fancy and something very good to show you along the line. Then, like I had mentioned earlier, then I would also be presenting to you a structure part that you can take to achieve your goal if you choose to pursue a career in financial crime compliance. So I guess we're in sync, right? Like we're in sync, right? Yes or yes? Good. So um, moving forward, the question, let's get to the very first section, which is the fundamentals. What is AML? What is KYC? So, like I said, like I promised earlier, it's going to be um, simple English, no jargons. So, AML is anti-money laundering. Anti-money laundering, that's AML. So before we define or go into the concept of AML. Let's talk about the money laundering itself. So what is money laundering? In plain terms, money laundering is the process of making illegal obtained money look legitimate. Money laundering is the process of making illegal obtained money look legitimate. So when we talk about illegal obtained money can come from different type of crime. Any crime you can think about, from human trafficking, drug trafficking, weapons, sales of weapons of mass destructions, wildlife trafficking, sex trafficking, like there are so much type of crime that generates illegal proceed. So when that illegal activity generates money, so the owner of the people responsible, they must or they have to launder this money in order to make it look legitimate. Because let's take for instance, your clothes is dirty. You're putting on a white shirt and there is oil stain and there's mud everywhere on the clothes. You definitely will not feel um, comfortable or feel proud to put on that type of clothes out, or probably the clothes is smelly and stuff like that. You won't feel comfortable in the public to wear those type of clothes. So what you then do, what is to take your clothes to the laundry machine and wash the clothes. And by the time the clothes is coming out, the smell will not be there anymore. Then the dirt will not be there anymore. So the same thing happens when it comes to money laundering. So because the activity that generated those funds, they are dirty. They are dirty. They are not activity that anybody would want to associate themselves with. So what the individual must do is to then launder this money by basically making it clean. So that would then lead us to definition of anti-money laundering. So what is anti-money laundering? Anti-money laundering is the system of controls, processes, and people built to detect and stop money laundering. Okay, let me take that one more time. So anti-money laundering is the system of controls, processes, and people built to detect and stop money laundering activity. So basically, that is where you and I come in. You see, the people, the system, the process to stop money laundering. Now, the question is, who is required to um, to set these systems in place, and why is this system is in place? So now the truth is that this system that we're talking, the system of control process, uh, is required by law for financial institutions to set up anti-money laundering program. So, and that's why we will be looking at some um, institutions that are mandated to have this anti-money laundering program. So you see, these systems controls, so it's called AML program. Now, it is required by law. And who are the people that are required to obey them? So in a more technical term, we call them reporting entities. So people that are reporting things that goes wrong within the financial institutions. So now let's look at them now. So we have banks and credit unions. So they are mandated by law. Okay, by law. It's not optional. It's not a nice to have activity. They are mandated by law to track transactions, to monitor transactions that go within their financial institutions. To conduct KYC, which is Know Your Customer, we'll be talking about that soon. And to also file SAR, this is Suspicious Activity Report, or in the US region, it's similar to what we call Suspicious Transaction Report in UK and Canadian jurisdiction, and also in a Middle East jurisdiction. So it's just, at the end of the day, it's the same thing, with just a little bit of nuances in who you report to. So then fintechs and payment solution companies, so they are required to conduct digital onboarding, risk screening, fraud controls. Then insurance companies, insurance and real estate companies, so they also have the responsibility to conduct client verification, source of funds report, and also they also have responsibility of reporting, just the same way as cryptocurrency companies and money service businesses are also required by FinCEN and FinTrack to be registered and to also screen the wallet of every of their clients. So all of these are required by law. So what does this signal to us? So it signals to us that if your experience, or if you know, if you have knowledge about anti-money laundering, you can easily get jobs in all of these industries. And you and I we can name and list a whole lot of banks and credit unions, fintechs and payments company, insurance, and like you can list a whole lot of all of these companies. So most people don't realize that these things are all available, or that our responsibilities as AML and KYC analysts cut across all these institutions. And like I said, they are required by law. And there is the global regulated aspect of it, which is the Financial Action Task Force. These guys set the standards. Then the likes of them, FinCEN, FinTrack, FCA, those guys have to enforce it locally. So what that just gets to tell us is that there is always job for us. Okay, there's always job available for you. Like, it's all, the question is, are you ready to take on those jobs? So moving forward, now let's talk about KYC. Let's talk about KYC. Know your customer. So KYC, this is the, as I go on, before we actually go on, so if you're benefiting something, if you're gaining knowledge already, type 2 in the chat. Let's go to the chat and type 2 in the chat. If you're already getting some gems already, let's keep the chat blazing. Let's keep the chat blazing. If you know you're feeling what I'm saying, if you're feeling this gist, type 2 in the chat. So now, yeah, I can see. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Like I said, this is an interactive section. It's not just me talking. So let's keep it coming. So now let's talk about KYC. Yes, that's good. That's good. Now you're encouraging me to want to pump on and go more. So let's talk about KYC. Know your customer. So KYC is the entry point. Okay, know your customer. Like the name sound, know your customer. So it's a process of verifying who a customer is before and throughout the relationship. So this is the first line of defense. So, okay. Sorry, guys. So this is the first line of defense. So KYC, what are the responsibilities of a KYC analyst? So what's every financial institutions, those companies with those parastatals we just listed, they are mandated to verify the identity of all the customers that they are doing business with. Take for instance, when you go to the bank to open your very first bank account, or you're opening any bank account or anything like within you're have to do any business with any bank for the first time, they would require you to either upload your ID, your identity card, government issued one. They would request for a certain information from you. So what they are doing is that they are conducting uh, what we call KYC. So they want to know who you are, and that is that on a retail on an individual base. The same thing happens when they are dealing with big parastatals. So let's take, for instance, Bank of America Bank of America wants to do business with um, Walmart or Tesco. Tesco wants to open an account with Bank of America. They Bank of America needs to identify who are the major owners of Tesco, that particular Tesco that wants to do business with them. You get, so they need to check. There are a lot of verifications they need to do. Who are the individuals controlling Tesco? Who are the major shareholders and all those stuff? They need to check all of these things. So they also need to check the source of funds. You guys, they need to understand where the customer is getting their money from. So a retail client, when I mean a retail client, a retail mean individual, you and I. Then when I mean corporate or capital markets, we're talking about companies like Tesco's, Walmart, and all those guys. So a retail client and a politically exposed person, they carry different risk profile. So the reason why companies want to do identification and check all the identification, make sure that everything is in order, is so that they know who is coming to do business with them. And they would also associate risk rating to each and every one of them. Risk rating, because all banks have what we call risk appetite. So just the way I could have a very high appetite for a certain type of food, you could have a different appetite for a different type of food. So that's how all different financial institutions, they have different risk appetite. So some banks could say, you know what, this person is too risky. We can't do business with this person. And some other companies will say, you know what, okay, yeah, we can accommodate this risk. We would have what we call, again, just plain language, shocks or observers, observers that we can to use to absorb those risks. So that is why it's very important for them to conduct all of those things. So now they also check for the expected account activity. So at this point in time, remember when you were opening out your bank accounts, they probably ask you some questions. What are you going to be using this bank account for? You probably told them that, okay, this is going to be a salary account. So the reason they ask is that so they could establish what normal look like for for that particular customer or for you. So that's why they ask you those questions. Then the reason is that you tell them that it's for payroll. So what they expect is just normal living expenses and use it on it, like just use it to do your day-to-day activities, pay your mortgage, pay your rent, your life insurance, and yada yada yada, all those stuff. They use that to set a baseline for what the transaction monitoring work on, because we will be talking about transaction monitoring system because all financial institutions, they are required to monitor all transactions so that when the individual start doing something unusual. So the reason we can call it unusual because the person is deviating from what they initially said they are going to be doing with the bank account. Okay, so yeah, that's that for that. Again, we go in depth in all the responsibilities of KYC analyst, and trust me, you can type in KYC analyst in your spare time. You can type in KYC analyst jobs. You will see there are a whole lot of KYC analyst role, although there are different names they call them, but they still boil down to the same doing the same thing anyway. So moving forward, let's see why the reason all of these things, this feed exists is because Um, just UN UN this was a survey did this was a survey and report from UN estimated about 800 billion to 2 trillion to be laundered every single year. Can you beat that? 800 billion to 2 trillion US dollars is estimated to be laundered every single year. So, and all of these come from and the reason this needs to be investigated, or why these financial institutions are mandated to keep track of everything that is going on, is that these funds, um, some of them are used to fund terrorism and organized crime. Um, the financial system is the access point. So compliance professionals are the control layers. So these funds are being generated. They need to use them um, to finance terrorism, organized crime. So it needs to pass through the financial institutions, because someone cannot carry the funds, just take the funds, by carry the cash and just be moving around again. It's easy to detect and stuff like that. So you need to pass through the financial institution. Then these funds also destabilizes the economies. So the launder funds distort markets, inflate real estate, and undermine legitimate business, because these funds were generated illegally, and now it is in the society, it's in the economy, so it destabilizes a whole lot of things, and it also triggers regulatory enforcement. So institutions that fail they face massive fine, and compliance professionals who also fail still get prosecuted. But again, that's a different story for a different day. So basically, what I'm saying here is that um, these are the reasons why financial institutions must be compliant, and that is why they have to employ you and I to carry out these responsibilities in order to protect not just the financial institution, but to also protect the economy. So that is more or less like like part of the benefit, other than your salary that you're being paid. So you look at it from that angle. Okay, how am I contributing to the society? So this is also your own contribution to the society by um, being diligent, and knowing what you're doing as an analyst. So compliance function is not back office administration. It's a frontline financial crime defense system. So basically, I'd like to stress this part, because I take joy in what I do, and beyond whatsoever the payment is, but we contribute to the society as well. So that's why I like to always stress this part every time I catch up on this to speak about it. So now let's talk about what uh, a day a day-to-day responsibility inside a life of a compliance function. So I know this is a lot of information on the screen, but I would try and make you I will try and break it down in a way that you can easily get the picture. So a day in the life of a compliance professional, you review and verify. So basically, you examine customers' identity documents at onboarding. It could be passport, utility bill, corporate registration, and stuff like that, as if you're dealing with businesses. So then you conduct risk assessment. So you score customer by risk level. So it could be low risk, medium risk, or high risk. So this drives how much scrutiny that goes into each customer. So basically, if a customer is low risk, there is a certain time you need to review the customer. If the customer is high risk, there's a certain time you need to review the customer. And now, let me quickly add something as I go forward. All of these all of these points that I am mentioning, they are job roles on their own. Okay, they are job roles on their own. They have job titles that you can search, and you would find something. You will find a job already for just basically verifying, reviewing and verifying what's it called? Reviewing and verifying a customer. So it could be CDD, customer due diligence, or it could be EDD, enhanced due diligence. So that is a role on its own. So risk assessment is something like I just mentioned. Then transaction monitoring. So what you'll be doing at this point in time is that you review alerts that are being flagged by the automated system. So remember how we discussed about the transactions, trying to establish the normal behavior of a customer. So when the customer, the system has already set a baseline for that customer. So by the time the customer start deviating from that from that pattern, automatically it triggers, and when it triggers, it calls for investigations. So then STRO and SARO preparation. So when you review the transaction and you notice that there's something wrong here, then you have to also file suspicious transaction reports or suspicious activity reports. So we also have what we call KYC refresh. KYC refresh is if this customer has been onboarded, we already have a business relationship with this customer. However, um, we need to review this customer at a certain time. If it's a low risk, every 12 months, medium risk, 24 months, and so on and so forth. So case escalation, you're working on a case and they're it's a complex case or probably high risk case, then you move it up to the up the ladder to someone with a higher authority. So sanction screening, you conduct name screening, transactions and watch list and all those things, then documentations, regulatory applications, and communicating your findings. So all of these that I mentioned, you won't be doing them once. And because if you're new to this feed, it may sound a lot, but however, when you get started, you see that it's not that much. Sometimes you could just be focusing on name sanctions and name screening alone, and sometimes you could just be focused on transaction monitoring or risk or refresh. You could be focusing on either one of all of these. So moving forward, now we've discussed about um, definitions. We've spoken about what's AML, what's KYC, and what they do and stuff like that. So now let's talk about why this is the shift, and you need to pay attention to this part. Pay attention to this part a lot. This is basically the reality shift. Why most candidates fail the interview. So the thing is that it is not a knowledge problem. Okay, it's not because this candidate, or it's not because you don't have the knowledge base, or it's not because you don't understand. So it is a practice problem. It is a practice problem. It's a practice problem. How many those things you've read, those things you've summarized? This lead me to a particular. Just bring back, jog my memory back about a friend of mine before he became a student, before he became our student. So he had studied, like, this guy is he's very brilliant and very smart. So he can take a book and assimilate everything very fast. So then he was applying to jobs. Good, like we had like 4 or 5 interviews back to back. Then when I asked him, hey, what's up after the first day? How was the interview? Oh yeah, man, that interview, man, I crushed that interview. All the questions they asked, I I answered everything. 2 weeks later, what's up? Have they called you? Oh, nothing. Then the next thing they send him the regular message. Oh, sorry, we need to move forward and all this stuff. So that happened in like 5 consecutive times. Then I was like, okay, you know what? What's going to happen? When next you go for the next interview, ask for feedback from the interviewer so that you know what you're not doing right and what you can do better. So he actually did ask for feedback, and gracefully, the recruiter told him, it was like, to be honest, you're a very smart and a brilliant person, but however, you're far from reality. So it was like they switched the bulb lights, or they poured cold water on my guy. And he came back, he told me like this was what the recruiter said. So what that means was that he had the knowledge, but however, he had not practiced. There was no hands-on practice of what he was talking about. So again, but at the end of the day, we were able to assist him, and then I think today he's doing more than 2 years already on the particular role. So yeah, moving forward. Now let's talk about the gap hiring manager exposed immediately. So what um, what candidates do and what hiring managers test. So let's put them together so you can self-examine yourself to understand where you have been, even what you've been doing outside of AML. Or if you're in AML already, or if you're outside of AML, this is something you should pay attention to. So what candidates do, they define money laundering, but can't explain a suspicious transaction. They know the three stages of laundry, but freeze on a real scenario. They have studied regulations, but haven't practiced applying them. They answer from memory, not from a structured thinking. The truth is that if I ask you a question as a compliance specialist myself, if I ask you a question and you're responding to me, I can tell if you've actually done what you're saying, or if you're using head knowledge, or if you've just given me what you've crammed. So now let's look at what hiring manager test for. What hiring managers are testing for is that they ask themselves this type of questions. Can you identify the right questions? Not just spot a red flag. It's easy to spot a red flag. Then when you spot a red flag, so what are you going to do at that point in time? So the other thing is, can you distinguish between usual, unusual, and suspicious, and suspicious? Then can you structure your reasoning clearly under pressure? Can you explain a decision that would hold up to regulatory scrutiny? And these are some of the things that most of our students can easily do now. Okay, it is something they can easily do now because they they do the talk. They don't just talk about it. They do it. It's challenging. Trust me, if you hear them speak, it's challenging, but they do it even at a practice level. So now, theoretical knowledge versus applied thinking. So theoretical knowledge, this is how it will sound. The three stage of money laundering are placement, layering, integration. But again, you will also get something like enhanced due diligence applies to high risk customer. SARO must be filed within 30 days. Then applied thinking would be something like, is this transaction unusual given what I know about this customer? Okay, remember we were talking about customer profile at the beginning. Then the other thing is that the other applied thinking kind of questions, or kind of would be, what context would change my risk assessment of this specific case? Can I document and explain this decision in a way that is defensible? So we always talk about defensibility, because at the end of the day, your decisions that you made uh, would be tested or will be contested at any given point in time, and you may not be there to explain your rationale at that point in time. It will be your documentation that would speak to what you've done. So an external auditor or a third party should be able to pick your work and read what you've written down and understand the full context of get the clear picture without asking you question, or without asking anybody question. So again, like I said, sorry, I would always mention my student because um, this is something they can do easily. Okay, yeah, going forward. Well, don't worry, we're almost at the end of the we're almost at the end. So now let's look at how a life case work. Like let's walk through a real scenario. So this is the kind of thinking you will be tested on in every compliance interview. This is basically the type of thinking you'll be tested on every compliance interview. So let's walk through a life scenario. So if you're ready to walk through a life scenario, can I get a one in the chat? Can I get a one in the chat? Let's get a one in the chat. Get a one in the chat. Let me know that we are all together. Are we together? Yes or yes? Are we together? Let's drop a one in the chat if you're with me. If you're with me, drop a one in the chat. If you're excited, drop a one in the chat. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. That's good. Good job. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Okay, good. So now let's work on a life scenario. Let's see how it works. Um, so for the sake of this webinar, so we've brought out everything. What's it called now? We've extracted everything down here to show you. So um, we have a system we use in doing this. I think if I have more time, I'll quickly walk you guys through the system so you can see it on the system. So you are an AML KYC analyst. Here is the file in front of you. The business type, small retail shop. They are they are they are into clothing. So the account tenure, like how long have they've been with us? They've been with us. They've been with the bank for 2 years. Historical activity, low volume, occasional supplier payments, modest daily revenue deposits. The risk rating of this customer at onboarding was low risk at onboarding. They were at low risk at onboarding. So prior alerts, they've never been alerted before. So now something changed. Something changed. Over a 10-day period, the following activity appears. One, incoming wire transfers. So this account received 3 wire transfers totaling 85,000 euro, arrives from overseas counterparty never seen on the account. Two, funds largely exit the account within 24 to 48 hours of receipt via multiple ongoing payments. Three, ongoing payments are split across several recipients, including one individual account, not a known supplier. Four, the customer's normal daily cash deposit from retail sales show no change. The business looks the same on the surface. Now, question is, what will you do? Guys, what will you do? Don't be in a hurry. Take 30 seconds and from your answer before you walk through it. So just what will you do? Take 30 seconds to form your answer. And what will you do in this situation? Have we taken 30 seconds already? Okay, someone want to say something. Okay, so we'll keep it very brief. Very brief. Okay. Go ahead, Anita.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So
You're
the
welcome.
first thing I will do is I'm going to review the client's KYC profile to see if there's been any like deviation on what we have on file. Then based on that, I'm going to carry out my investigations to know what the source of fund and all that.
Point on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that response. That's point on. That's good. Okay, so now let's look at what I have here because it seems like Anita, she checked me up and she knew what I was going to say. So now the unusual versus the suspicious. So the critical distinction every analyst must know. You must be able to outline the unusual and also able to outline what is suspicious. So now for the unusual, so deviates from pattern. So the activity is different from what we would expect based on the customer established profile. So remember when we spoke about when during onboarding, the things that is being conducted during onboard, those questions being asked during onboarding is to build the customer's profile. So now there's a deviation between what is expected of the customer profile. So the next thing is this: we basically need investigation. So it merits attention and further inquiries, but does not automatically mean crime. So because we're investigating does not automatically mean that a crime has occurred. So now there might be a form of explanation for this: a new supplier or a one-off business contracts, a loan repayment. So context matters. You see, when Anita mentioned that you go back to check the KYC, check the KYC profile. So what that was leading to is to see, okay, what has changed about this individual? So by the time you understand what has changed, that will give you a different context to work your case. So that was a very good response. So then the other thing you also check under the unusual is you do not have to escalate prematurely. First of all, you need to gather context and then you assess. So let's look at what we would consider to be suspicious. So after investigation, if we then realize that there are no legitimate reasons can be found for the activity, then we can then conclude that there's a reasonable grounds to suspect or that a suspicious transaction had occurred, or believe there's a reasonable grounds to suspect or there's a reasonable grounds to believe. So the indicator of crime. So the pattern, the amount, and the counterparty aligned with unknown laundry, with a known laundry typology. So now we've checked. We could not find any legitimate reasons why this transaction is occurring. So we're checking the pattern. The funds came into the account and is moving out almost immediately. Within 48 hours, it's moving out. Then the amount, then the counterparties. When we're talking about the counterparties, we're talking about the individual that sends the funds, the individual that sends in the funds, and who the funds were sent to. So this whole pattern is giving a known laundry typology. Then documentation. So then the evidence in the file, you take them taken together to support your reason for suspicion. So basically, everything you're checking, you're documenting them in order for you to support your reason to suspect that a suspicious transaction is occurring. Then you escalated if warranted. So the case then move up. A suspicious activity or a suspicious transaction report needs to be filed at this point. I think somebody mentioned, I think Patrice mentioned that mentioned completes in STRO or SARO, forward to appropriate leadership. Point on. Thank you for that. So in this case, the activity is unusual. Whether it becomes suspicious depends on what investigations reveal. So the question you ask and how you document your thinking determine the outcome. So the question you ask and how you document your thinking, it always depends on the outcome. So this is basic what we this is like how we do our stuff. But now let me stop sharing my screen. I'll come back, guys. I'll come back to this shortly. So let me share a different screen because now that I kind of we brought everything out, so it looks very easy. Okay, it looks very easy. It looks like okay, this is how it's easy. Okay, let me quickly put it that way. It's easy. It's not rocket science. So let me show you how it is, or in a banking scenario. So I'm going to share a different screen just briefly to show you how it is. And this is basically what we use in training our students. So can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What can we see, by the way? Hope I'm not sharing the previous screen. Okay, so basically what we use in, like this is basically what we use in training our students and stuff like that. So when they start, because now it was very easy for us to put all those things together. So now these particular students have like 19 alerts that they are working on. One in progress, escalated 20. So when you get when in a real life scenario, when you receive your case, you're receiving the work, your caseload, then you log into your case management system, then you're going to be seeing cases like this. So it's for you to start, you need to start breaking things down and bringing out information from it by yourself. So you view what was alerted. So when you view what was alerted, because this one is already under review, let me pick a different case that it's probably not. So when you view what was alerted, then you start with your investigation notes. So the risk assessment, you will see everything inside of here. So it will be your own responsibility. It will be your responsibility to fill up all of these parts, and then you save your notes. And if you have to create an investigation, so then you have to create an investigation. That's if you need to move the case forward, or if you need to close the case at that point in time, you're going to do that. Then you open up a case, then you check the transactions in the customer's accounts. Okay, the wire out. So the wire in. So you're basically going to then check for the counterparties that the customer is dealing with. So this is how you basically check your customer. So this is how it is in a real life scenario. And this is what you're basically going to be doing as a KYC or as AML analyst. So that was just one of the systems we use in training students. Just wanted to show you what it looks like. Let me take it back to my slide. Okay, I've taken it back to my slide. So now let me share my screen again. Okay, so yeah, so basically, that is what I just showed us is how we how what's the name of the software. So that particular is a case management software that is an in-house software that we use in training our students. Just to answer the question you asked. So this particular one is this particular one is NICE Setina. There are NICE Actimize, there are Oracle, there are Salesforce. They all do the same thing, okay, but just different brands. So this brand is an in-house brand we use in training our students. So the reason for that, I will be talking about that just because somebody asked that question. The reason we do this is so that you have hands-on experience. You're not talking from theories. You've done it. So we'll get to that anyway. So moving forward. So if you're not okay, sorry guys. So then let's move forward. Then let's talk about how we train And okay, I think this just lead me to that question lead me to this particular slide. So this is how we train our analysts from um, this particular flow. So we teach you to identify what is unusual and what is suspicious. Then you then apply it to do your report. So the question to ask and the decision part that follows. So investigating that activity. So the question is, when you're investigating, can the customer, I'm talking about the scenario we're just talking, the scenario we just finished. This is how proper way you should reason it is. Can the customer explain the source of the incoming funds? Who are the overseas counterparties? Can they be verified or found? So now you see that this person received this amount of wire transfers. So you're asking yourself these questions. Can who are these overseas counterparties? Can they be verified or found? Is the rapid outflow consistent with a legitimate purpose? Yeah, it's okay for a customer to receive funds into their account and move it out of the account immediately, as far as if they need it for business purpose. So you're asking yourself the question, if there's a legitimate purpose for them, legitimate business purpose for them moving the funds. So the other question we teach our students to ask is, who is the individual beneficiary? What is their relationship to the business? So the person receiving the individual receiving that funds, who are they? Like, who is this person? What is their relationship to the business that they are sending that funds from the business account to that individual? Do any counterparties appear on sanctioned list or in adverse media? So sanctioned list, we have different type of sanction list, the OFAC sanctions list, SDN list, and all those lists. Again, we also have systems we also have system for that anyway. So basically you're checking to see who they are, to know because knowing who they are can give you more context to what is going on in their accounts. So then the other question you should also ask is that, as the customer's KYC profile been refreshed recently? I think that was what Anita, she also mentioned, she was gearing towards when she gets that answer. So basically, these are the questions, investigating questions that you ask. Then to gather the context, you're requesting explanation. So understand that you can also request explanation from the customer. You run counterparties check and sanction screening. You assess the risk. You then make decision. Okay, and there are three possible decisions you can make. First, you clear the case. You investigate. Second, you investigate further. Third, you escalate to a senior analyst. Then, at the end of the day, you're going to be documenting everything that you have, everything that you've reached, everything that you've done. So now let's talk about the gap. We're almost at the end of this now. Let's talk about the gap. So most people have never practiced this. So the truth is, they've never practiced all of these things that we just said. So reading about AML is not equal to walking through an AML case with real decisions to make. So there's a difference between you just reading through and really working and making decisions by yourself. Knowing the definition of suspicious activity report is not equal to knowing when, why, and how to file one under pressure. Passing a theory exam is not equal to demonstrating structured analytical thinking in an interview. So could you explain your reasoning on that case if an interviewer asks you right now? I'm not talking about AML theory. So if this is a question you should ask yourself. Would you have been able to explain that case if an interviewer asked you to explain it for them right now? So that's a question you need to ask yourself. And basically, that is something you should ask yourself, and your answer would then show, and then you can then understand where the gap lies. So, like I said before, I said I would also be presenting to us a structured part, what it actually takes to break in. So we've discussed about what AML is all about. We've discussed about the different components, and we've discussed about some other things. So now let's talk about a structured part that you can take to get into this field without going through different routes. So you have just like you have experience. Now let's talk about how to close the gap. So before we go further, let's make sure that you are in the right room. I know we've taken more than 45 minutes, and I know you'll be wondering why are we now checking why if I'm in the right room by this point in time. But for you to have waited to this time, it's obvious that we are all in the right room. So basically, what our program is built for individuals that are switching careers. So you're coming from another industry, finance, admin, operation, banking, ops, operations, and compliance is the direction you have chosen. So you understand the stakes. You don't have a map yet. So we have a map already. Okay. This is also for you if you're a recent graduate. Your degree basically opened a door nobody told you have compliance actually work. So basically, your degree is something that would open the door for you. But however, when it comes to compliance, you need to have an actual experience in order for you to land a job. And again, this is also for you if you're a new immigrant with professional experience. You may be new immigrant, you may also not be a new immigrant, but at least you have some level of professional experience. You have the background. You have worked, but your credentials don't transfer automatically into the Canadian or the US or the UK markets. So you need a structured part that hiring manager will recognize. So that is what we have succeeded in doing by going ahead to create systems that you can actually use that probably will refresh your mind on everything you've done. Or this you have been trying and it hasn't worked. So you have applied to AML KYC rule. Maybe you've completed a course or two, or probably even taking certifications. The interviews aren't converting, and you can feel the gap between what you know and what they need. So this is also for you if you're in that room, because we've created that not to fill the gap for you, basically. So yeah, let's move forward. So now let's talk about the program. So here's what the program has produced. Actually, we've trained more than 100 professionals uh, through these curriculums, and 65% of our students, of our past students, I call them colleagues and analysts, 65% of them have landed jobs of up to 85K and above, and some persons have probably landed even lower than that, and most people have landed way higher than this, but this is just an average score, and most of them have done this within 3 months. This is a typical timeline. Within 3 months, 3 to 6 months, they've done, again, depending on how they put in the work. So how these results were produced. So a curriculum built around re-institutional workflows, not exam prep. So we don't do exam prep at all. So the curriculum was built around re-institutional workflow, simulated review process, escalation logic, documentation standards, regulatory reporting. It aligns with FinTrack, FATIF, FCA, and FinCEN. So the system you're about to see, okay, I think I've already shown you the system. So yeah, so I showed you the system that we use. So basically, this is what it was built, our program was built around. Then where you are now versus where you would be in 12 weeks. Okay, just to put it out there, our program is usually 12 weeks. So confused about the feed. Let's say probably you're confused um, about the feed, AML, KYC, sanctions, compliance, and you know the words, but the picture isn't clear. This is for this, and you're studying without applying. You've consumed content. You haven't practiced making a re-compliance decision. Setting applications that stall, the interviews the interviews that do come feel like a test. You haven't studied the right thing at all. So it feels like a test to show you that you haven't studied the right thing, if even when you get interviewed. No institutional experience. Employer wants analysts who have worked cases. You have never been inside a workflow. So now in 12 weeks, if you go through our program, this is what you will become. You understand the full picture: AML, KYC, sanctions, escalation. You know how the pieces connect inside a real function. You've walked through real cases by the end of 12 weeks. You should have walked through real cases, not theories, actual simulated cases, alert, risk scoring, STRs, STRs writing, sanctions it. You would have done this. Then you walk into interview differently. See, you can explain your reasoning. You can walk through a scenario. You can document decision. So you'll be a rock star when because again, what are they going to ask you that you've not done at this point in time? If somebody asks you what's your daily routine is like, I believe you can tell them without even thinking. So that is what this will do for you. So you have simulated institutional experience. So 12 weeks of structured simulation is what bridges the gap, the experience gap employers are looking for. So that is what it will look like. So now, more about the AML KYC simulation training program. So it's a 12 weeks intensive course, case-driven training. So the graduates have the ability to analyze, construct defensible STROs, and operate inside a compliance function, not just understand the theory. So it's a 12 weeks, it's a live instructor-led. It's usually in the evenings, and it's delivered virtually. So we cover jurisdictions: Canada, US, UK, and even Middle East. So, and you get to join a community of other analysts. Then the structure, this is how the program are being structured. So all of these are available on our website. You can, we will drop our website in the charts where you can take a look at them in detail so you understand what you're getting into. So the 12 weeks, we do the foundation. There's the foundation where we'll cover AML, the AML side of things, the landscapes, everything you need to know. Then we move to case analysis and KYC ops. So where you would be you'll be getting your hands really dirty. You have to fold your sleeve and get to do things by yourself. So you do documentations and decisions. You would actually be filing STRs or SARs, depending on your jurisdiction you're joining from. You'll be filing them and you will be submitting them. Then application and career readiness. So the simulation is usually complex, but again, it's also a good thing for you. Then interview preparations. We conduct interview preparations. And one important thing we do is LinkedIn professional visibility. So this is something that we reverse engineer from the very first day. You start to build your visibility because you may know all these things. You've done simulations, you've done everything, and nobody knows you exist. The recruiters does not know you exist. So we work with you to we teach you. It's an experience that you can learn We teach you how you can position yourself properly on LinkedIn, how to set your LinkedIn up, what you need to put out there, what you need to post, even topics that you need to post. So we have a structured way of teaching you all those things so that you can be visible before you finish the interview. Sorry, before you finish the training, you would already be visible. So we also have career readiness workshops along the line in the training. So these are the things you benefit from it. So not to bore you too much, I'm not going to read any of all this. I'm not going to read all of them out. So things that you'll be able to do, you'll be able to analyze suspicious transactions, you'll be able to navigate complex case escalation workflow, apply risk, build a professional LinkedIn profile present for compliance careers, and you can take that skill to build in any other field, and you can even teach people how to do it when you're done learning how to build your LinkedIn profile. So these are the things that you're going to get from the training. And we've already spoken about this is just giving you a clear picture of what the things you can apply to, like jobs you can apply to, what the program covers in depth, AML investigations, KYC capital market onboarding, periodic refresh and review, product addition, and KYC updates, sanctions and name screening, LinkedIn visibility. So this is what's it called now? In a clear picture of what it entails. Maka is asking, do you apply for jobs for your trainees? No, we don't apply for jobs for them, but what we do better is that we teach them how to do it so they can do it with or without us. So we guide them strategically. That's why during the LinkedIn professional visibility, we start it at the beginning so that they start doing it. We teach them how to set it up, what to post, what not to post, and when to start doing outreach, when they can start sending message to recruiters. That they don't start that at the very first 2 weeks. No, you can't do that. You have to wait. You have to have posted. You have to have built your profile to an extent before you can start doing all of those. So we also give them the sequence that the framework they have to follow. Connections with our recruiters for the cohort to get hired across jobs. We have those. We don't promise those connections. Okay, we don't promise them. However, those connections they do come. Those connections comes subsequently. There are times the connections will come. A recruiter is asking for, I need XYZ stuff. Oh yeah, come on. And again, we're still working on getting a strong pipeline that we can easily pass all our students to recruiters. But for now, we don't promise that. But however, it's definitely we've done that in the past before, where most of our students we send them to recruiters and they all get placed. So yeah, it's something doable. Just to answer the question, someone Joshua was asking. I hope that answer your question, Josh. So now let's try and all of us, let's be at the same page. So why this program is different? So the difference is not the content, so it is the method that we use. So the method is what's produced job ready analyst. So job ready analyst, you'll be ready for any job. So this the method that is the difference. So this is not a passive content consumption. You are very active at least you can tell from the way we've been conducting this webinar together. So it's not a passive content consumption. It's not memorize, test, forget. No. Teaches what AML is. No. Like basically, we don't tell you the definition, never ask you to practice using the definition. No, we don't do it. No, we don't tell, that's not what we do. No decision-making practice. No. So we don't do all of those things. But what we do is this: we do active case simulation. So you walk through real cases decisions, escalations, documentation at every stage. These are the things you're going to be doing. So you practice, you get feedback, you improve. You practice, you get feedback, you improve. So you train how to think in AML, how to think in AML. Every module develop reasoning and judgment, not knowledge recall under examination condition. So it's this is what compliance is all about. Reasoning and judgment. That is the key thing which leads to defensibility in compliance. So with reasoning and knowledge, and fully interview ready on graduation. So final sections build the ability to explain your thinking clearly under interview conditions. Because one thing is that you may know all these things, but how do you fire these thoughts during your decisions, your thinking process? How do you fire them during interview? So these are the things that we also build. Will you be handling all the classes for the 12? No, I won't be handling all the classes for the 12 weeks. No, we have other instructors that, again, we have other instructors that are senior professionals in different aspects, like KYC, capital market onboarding. That's a broad field of its own. So we have a different instructor that would take you on that part. So we have what's it called, sanctions and name screening. We have AML investigations. So we have instructors and definitely I myself, I have my own part I also take inside. I take the AML investigations, and most times I also take sanctions screening. But we also have people that specializes in different aspects. I hope that answers your question, Darabo. So after the program, do I still have to get AML certification? Okay, now certification. I know I have some of my students on this call. Okay, because of time, that's why I'm not bringing them on board to speak now. But let me take this from me. Certification is a secondary thing in compliance. When you're getting into compliance, it's secondary. What I mean it's secondary, you don't need the certification to get into any of this role. And I'm not talking about entry level, because we don't train our students to get into entry level. We start from mid-level. Okay. Then when you get on board, you understand what you're doing. Most times your company would even pay for your certification. So all my students, all my students that have gotten jobs, let me correct myself. All my students that have gotten jobs, they all got their job without certification. ACAMS is added advantage, okay, but that does not mean that is not it's not going to guarantee you the job if you don't know what the recruiter is looking for. So when you're done, when you get inside, then you can go ahead and take your certification. That is when you're ready to move to the next level. Because even when you get the job, one thing I still do for my students is that when they are already 2 years, 1 year into the job, they call back and we discuss next step. Next step, then I will be the one to start to tell you, okay, now it's time for you to take your certification. It's time for you to certify yourself, because these are the rules I want you to start applying to. So most times you will probably even get a message from me before you even think about doing your certification. So certification is good. However, certification does not guarantee you a job if you don't know what you're doing basically. So I hope that answers the question. So I guess we're already doing our Q&A already as we go. So we're already at the end part of this section. So this is the investment. Okay, will the training add to credit for certification? Yes, of course, it will add to your credit for certification. Yeah, your message is showing the message you're sending shows that you know about certificate, because I wasn't going to talk about the point base for ACAM certification, because you also need it's a point based certification type. But that's good. I like the fact that you asked that question. Yes, it does. So now this is your investment. So we have the investment for this particular training is 3,000 Canadian dollars. With early bird, you get 5% off your you get 5% off basically. So this is 12 weeks live instructor-led sections, hands-on simulation case at every stage, certificate of completion, ongoing community and resource access. So the next cohort is starting in June 23rd, 2026. So if this is something you're interested in, you can go ahead and apply to it, or you can go ahead and send us a message either on email, or you can also go ahead and send us a message on WhatsApp. Then we can always take it out from there. So this is our commitment for you. Our commitment is that every applicant goes through a review process, because again, the seats are very limited. The reason we do have limited seats is that because we want to be able to attend to you, each and every one of you, intentionally, because we're intentional about our brand, and we're intentional about who we let in, and we're also intentional about your success. We're intentional about it, so that when you're successful, we are successful. So yeah, so basically, so someone is asking, is there a payment structure? Yes, there's a payment structure. So there's opportunity to apply to 2 installments. It's available, so you can also apply to that. Do you issue a T2 tax receipt afterwards? Definitely, we can arrange that for you. That's not a problem at all. So yeah, basically that's that for that. And the link to the program page is already in the chat, so you can click on the link and then take advantage of the time and review what's. Am I showing you? Okay? Now I'm showing the right screen. Sorry, guys, I wasn't showing the right screen before. So the link to our program page is already in the chat, so you can go ahead and check more about what we do, and you can take it up from there. So, why acting on matters? So, 3 things that don't wait. So, 3 things that don't wait. The June 23rd cohort closes when seats are filled up. Okay, so we have limited seats. Like I said before. So cohort size is intentionally limited to protect the quality of instructions and the interactions. Open capacity is reached, and the next cohort is the only option. So I think it's like a month away. A month or 2 months away. So early birds price expires before the deadline anyway. So then every month without structured is a month of opportunity cost. So the average time at entry level without structured preparation is 12 to 24 months. It's what you can spend at entry level, and that's what we take away from. We take that part away from you. You're not supposed to start from entry level. The minimum we encourage our students to start from is mid-level, and you can go ahead and type in KYC analyst roles, type in all of them, and you see what the salary compensation is all about. So, okay, I think I jumped one part. So apply for the June 23rd cohort. It's the link has been dropped in the chat, like I said before. You apply, and feel free to reach out to us and to chat about it. Admin, please, can you drop WhatsApp our phone number in the chat and also our email in the chat. You can reply to any of the email that you've been receiving, and we can jump on a call or a separate call if you want. We just reach out to us, feel free, and we can work out something also. And this is my parting words to you. To be honest, I just feel like going on teaching. I don't feel like going, but I know we have to go. Every sweet, every journey definitely would have to come to an end at some point. So this is my parting words for you guys. Stop learning passively and start thinking like the role. Okay, the feed is real. The demand is growing. You really don't want to know about it, how the demand is growing. So the demand is growing. The talent gap is structural, not closing itself. It's structural. The difference between those who break in and those who stay stuck is not intelligence or effort. It is whether they have practiced applying what they know to decisions under pressure with documentation. So this is exactly what this program is built to do. So okay, let me take this last question before. Do you give reference after the training when requested by recruiters? Oh, definitely. If situation whereby we have to do, we depending on what comes out from your resume, definitely we give reference. If we have to write to your recruiters or anything, definitely we give you everything we can give to you apart from our life, because we've given our life to Christ already. So, but we give you every other thing that we can give to you just to make sure that you're successful on this. You're successful on this journey. So, yes. So, with that being said, I just want to say, I think. Now, let me take any question, any final questions before we go for today. Any final questions? I can take that before we go. Any last question? Anything at all you want to talk about? We have like 5 minutes to call it. What's the schedule for the class? So the schedule for the class will be shared. I think I showed the schedule, but again, let me see. When you mean the schedule, are you talking about the course outline, or is that what you mean? Ochiko? Can you confirm what you mean by schedule? Time, okay, time and days. So classes are usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's the schedule. Hope that answers your question. Okay, so any other last question? Any other last thing you want to do? You can grab our email and phone numbers and reach out if you still have any other things. So for someone who's never worked in banking, how do I showcase this on my CV and possibly get a job? These are the things that we would work with you to accomplish during the training. Like I said, at the beginning, we start with LinkedIn visibility. That's what we build. And while you're building your LinkedIn, you're also building a resume. We are also building a resume. And for someone that's, okay, if you guys would permit me, because we've gone over the time that we're supposed to be wrapping up in like 2 to 3 minutes. But if you guys would permit me, I think I have one of my students on this call. I can allow him speak to you guys. And this question that you asked, I could probably maybe ask him to just maybe talk about it just under 1 minute, if that's okay. If that's okay, guys, can you drop a 1 in the chat if that's okay? so that it doesn't look like I'm just the one talking about all of the, okay, I can see one. Um, Isosa, I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't discuss this with you before. I'm sorry. But is it okay you unmute and just tell us if you had prior banking experience or if you had um, prior AML experience before getting on the job that you're working now? You really don't have to reveal too much, but can you just quickly unmute and just talk to us, if possible for you, please?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone.
Definitely.
Uh, Prior to joining AML and KYC, now working as an AML analyst, I never had a background in banking. As a matter of fact, it was when I came to Canada and then I met with Maven. He told me that this is what it is here. So just like we're having this webinar, I joined the first webinar back then. And after that, we did the training. And after the training, I graduated August and I got the job in November. So yeah, since November 2024 up until this minute, I'm working as an AML analyst.
Thank you very
So
much.
with no prior banking experience.
What was your background, or what were you studying in uni?
Yeah, I did BSc chemistry.
Okay, then when you got to Canada, what were you studying in Canada?
Oh, I did for my first program I did health systems management, and the second program I did information technology.
And what is your current role now?
I work as an AML analyst at PwC.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for even mentioning the company.
yeah.
You mentioned PwC. And how many years have you been on your job now?
Yeah, like I said, I started November 2024, so I've been over a year now.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing. So, okay, you guys, you've had for yourself. So, this is somebody coming from a BSc chemistry. Now, nothing related to AML, but he has found his path in this industry and this career path, and he's doing great and doing well. And like I told you, we don't prepare you to get into a job and then after 3 months you can't pass your probation period. No, like we've had students that have, like the last webinar we did, we had students that currently they are QA, QC now, and they started from. These are people that didn't even have any experience whatsoever when it comes to airmen. So we train you to have because this is what we do, this is what we have done. We know what it is. So we are not telling you theories. We are teaching you what they are doing in the bank. We're basically cutting out the noise, the irrelevant things that you don't need to learn at this stage to jumpstart you. Because most of you, you're not just starting your career today. No, you've been doing something before. So we jumpstart you from what was it called? The entry level straight up to mid level. And then when you find your feet there, then you can bring your experience from whatsoever you were doing before and add it to what you're doing now. And then you see how well you can move very fast. So these are the things we do. We've done it over and over and over and over again. So because of time, that's why I didn't have to bring all these students for them to start speaking. We have enough of them that can come testify of what they've encountered, of what they've experienced. So with that being said, I hope I'm not. So yeah, the class is recorded. Yes, our classes are always recorded, and we share the recordings with our students by the time we're done with each of the sections, so that they can go back and go over again. So, in the absence of no, I believe that's thanks for again, thank you, Aisha, for sharing. We didn't have this conversation, but because I saw you on the call, so I decided to just put you on the spot. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Please let's encourage Isus in the chat. Let's show him some love for sharing with us. this evening. So with that being said, I just want to say a very big thank you to you guys for joining this and staying up until this time, joining this webinar. We appreciate it. We do not take it for granted. There are 1,001 places that you could have been this evening, but you decided to hang out with us this afternoon. We appreciate it, and please feel free to reach out to us on our WhatsApp. It has been posted there. Our email, you can reach out to us at admin at nwc compliance.ca. You can reach out to us, and let's have further conversations on how we can assist you move from the stage you are to experience level. With that being said, thank you guys, and have a good day and enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.